Thanks so much for joining us here on KREM 2. We are under a weather impact alert. I'm Jenny Power, and it's time to get a really in-depth look about what is happening weather-wise for the inland Northwest today. So we are under this weather impact alert because we are going to be faced with some high heat as well as some isolated thunderstorms that have the potential of leading to some new fires and critical fire weather conditions. So we are mixing some weather conditions together, hot temperatures, unstable atmosphere, and it's never a good combination, especially when it comes to the forecast. So what we need to really be aware of today is that new fires could start and spread rapidly. One of the more noticeable things that we have woken up to for the day today has been reduced air quality across the inland Northwest. So many people even waking up to unhealthy air quality. So it's going to be a day where you want to keep the windows and doors shut as much as you can to conserve some clean air inside. What's happening weather-wise and where some of this smoke appears to be coming from is because of new fires that have started up in Boundary County as we look toward the Turner Hill fire. Earlier this morning, we saw winds coming from the northeast, pushing some of that smoke into parts of Coeur d'Alene and Spokane. So fairly light, and it is expected to even lighten up as we move into this afternoon. So improvements are expected. Smoke is always a little bit tricky to keep an eye on, but if you are someone who is particularly sensitive to reduced air quality or seeing this wildfire smoke, you may want to consider limiting your time outside today. The big thing, though, that we are tracking closely has to do with this. A widespread red flag warning that is spanning through much of the entire state of Washington, even over the Cascades and through parts of western Washington. So this is going to be in place until about 11 p.m. tonight because of the isolated thunderstorms that have been tracking through, bringing with it the threat of some lightning, even dry lightning. And then the associated gusty outflow winds within those storms could rapidly spread any new fires that do get started by lightning. Earlier this morning, we did see some storms firing up down toward the Palouse into Malden as well as St. John. Moses Lake received some rain showers, and unfortunately within some of these storms, while yes, the threat are dry thunderstorms, we could even see some thunderstorms produce a little bit of rain. But unfortunately, if new fires start, it wouldn't be enough to really dampen any new fires that get started. So moving forward, we have the chances of thunderstorms for all of these areas that are shaded in green, but a marginal risk of even some isolated severe storms for parts of eastern Washington, including Spokane, North Idaho, western Montana, and even a slight risk, so that's the higher level there, level 2, of seeing some severe storms out in western Montana and Missoula. So here's our scale there. Again, darker green, that marginal threat, and the yellow to the east of us, prompting that slight threat of these severe storms. So some things that we could see within these isolated thunderstorms include the lightning and the gusty winds, the new fire starts, but also we could see some hail. Up to an inch is what we are preparing for. Moving forward and getting into our future tracker. Through midday and this afternoon, we're seeing plenty of sunshine. But moving into this late afternoon, early evening is when we're going to watch for some of these storms to start to fire up from the south, bringing with it the risk of those isolated thunderstorms moving across parts of Spokane County as well as through the North Idaho Panhandle as we head into about dinner time. 6 to 7 p.m. is the timing of this right now on our future tracker, but still hanging on to that threat overnight and even into early tomorrow morning for parts of the Okanagan Valley, where we're watching for some more potential of those storms firing up further north, giving way to mostly dry conditions tomorrow for your Friday. Relative humidity, though, this is the other thing that, of course, we track very closely when it comes to elevated fire danger, especially critical fire danger on a day like today, because through this afternoon and evening, relative humidity, it drops a lot for the central and eastern parts of Washington, even as low as the teens. So we're seeing those very dry conditions. Then we factor in the threat of those thunderstorms, and that's where we run into fire trouble. Now, the winds, of course, is something we're also monitoring. Like I said earlier, we've been seeing winds coming out of the northeast, kind of blowing some of that smoke from fires that have started up in North Idaho into parts of eastern Washington and further down into Coeur d'Alene and Kootenai County. Moving forward, our winds are going to shift a little bit, and it also comes in accordance with how some of these thunderstorms are going to be tracking through. So we'll watch for winds really picking up toward Ellensburg and the Kittitas Valley by this evening, and we'll also watch for those winds to then fire up in accordance with where we're watching for some of those storms to develop, first towards southeast Washington there, and then gradually tracking a little bit further north. Of course, the other thing we monitor is how dry we've been. In fact, now recently in the last week, Omak is sitting in extreme drought for parts of the Okanagan Valley. This is something, of course, we track all summer long, as we have now been seeing years of drought conditions for much of the inland Northwest. Spokane right now has been sitting in that moderate range, while over the state line in parts of North Idaho, as well as down through parts of the Palouse, we have been seeing some severe drought conditions. Reminder, with the critical fire weather danger today, the emphasis is on being prepared, folks. So we are now in the thick of wildfire season. Hopefully you've already checked some of these things off the list, but make sure that you have an evacuation plan. You know what to do if you are at your home or even at your workplace and all of a sudden a wildfire evacuation is issued for your area. So have that plan. Make sure you have a way to listen to emergency channels and know the status of fires, and also have a go bag ready to go. Things like emergency supplies that you might need and must have items in your car or in a bag that is easily accessible. Things like medication, important documents, things that you would really need, glasses, maybe contact lenses. That's going to be important when we're faced with these fire weather conditions in the middle of July. Now, on top of everything else, as we've been talking about the unhealthy air quality and the critical fire danger, temperatures are hot today. In fact, we have heat advisories, some of the first of the season so far, that start at noon and will last until 9 p.m. And Spokane is included in this. We even dip down toward parts of the LC Valley and the Palouse. Daytime highs for Spokane, if we hit this, it would be some of the hottest temperatures that we've seen for the season so far. A high of 97 degrees for Spokane. We're looking at 96 for Coeur d'Alene, and many areas looking to break into the triple digits. LC Valley included into that. Richland, Lower Columbia Basin, Moses Lake, as well as Omak up in the Okanagan Valley. A high of 98 degrees in Chelan, 99 for Colville, 97 north to Newport, 94 for Bonners Ferry, mid-90s down on the Palouse. And so this layered on top of the critical fire weather danger, it makes for very difficult firefighting conditions for all the firefighters out there that might be having to work under this heat, or for folks that just have to work outside in general. Unfortunately, when we see this, heat-related illnesses are possible. We'll get to that in just a moment. These temperatures that we are seeing are above average, but not quite near that record, which was last set back in 1941, where we saw 104 degrees. But again, when we talk about this high heat-related illnesses, unfortunately, they are possible when we are seeing the temperatures today. So knowing the differences between heat exhaustion as well as heat stroke is going to be very important, as well as knowing what to do if you see someone experiencing this. So let's first talk about heat exhaustion. Some of those symptoms include feeling faint or dizzy, excessive sweating, nausea and vomiting, cool and pale, clammy skin, rapid weak pulse, as well as muscle cramps. If you see someone experiencing heat exhaustion, make sure that you're getting them to a cool place, to give them water to drink if they are conscious, and also take a cool shower or put on some cold compresses. Now, heat stroke, that is a little bit different. Those symptoms include a throbbing headache, no sweating, red hot and very dry skin, rapid strong pulse. You might even lose consciousness under these conditions. So if you see someone or you yourself are experiencing heat stroke, make sure that you call 911. Of course, the other thing that we have to talk about when we are seeing hot temperatures like we are is that never leave any animals or children in a hot car, folks, because these conditions could potentially be deadly. When our air temperatures are at 90 degrees, which some areas are going to even be in the triple digits again today, so this scale just gets escalated even more quickly. In less than 10 minutes, we are seeing highs or internal vehicle temperatures in the triple digits, and temperatures just continue to climb as time goes on. So unfortunately, those conditions can be fatal, which is why before you leave your vehicle and before you lock it and head away, make sure you're checking that back seat. Emphasis on never leaving pets, dogs, children in the vehicle unattended. As we move forward and take a look at what's to come, overnight lows are still going to be on the warmer side. 65 degrees overnight tonight for both Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, 69 for Grand Coulee, so not getting too much relief there. So having a good way to cool down with some clean air is going to be important. Unfortunately, folks, as we are fully in that wildfire season and now even entering into the smoky season for the inland Northwest. Weather impact alert just in place for the day today. Moving forward, we are going to see this extended stretch of highs in the 90s. It's slightly cooler tomorrow and this weekend, but these temperatures are still above our average for this time of year. It is going to be mostly sunny and dry for Saturday and Sunday, and we are watching for this to even continue into the middle of next week. So be weather aware, folks. Stay hydrated, stay safe under the conditions today. We really don't want any new fires to start under these circumstances because it could be very difficult to contain and also hard on the firefighters that are working so tirelessly for us across the region. But with the threat of some of those isolated thunderstorms moving through, a really crucial tool today is going to be our live local radar. You yourself can stream this 24/7. You can get it on your phone or your TV. That's also where you can get the very latest updates on what's happening weather-wise, all for free for you on the KREM 2 app.